Hey everybody, how's it going? Ah boy, this topic, my friends, is one that hits very, very, very close to home. But I honestly, really and truly don't know if I've spoken about this topic before. But I think I need to, because the more society seems to demonize and devalue men who are the creators of society, the builders, the inventors, those who keep the lights on and the water running, those who help us to keep the fire going and the gas. The more we keep devaluing them and ignoring the accomplishments of men, it just, Jesus Lord, this dude waited until the last minute to freaking speed up. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about is abuse. I want to talk about abuse. I want to talk about women who abuse men in relationships. And I am a victim of physical and verbal abuse. I've been in quite a few relationships where women were verbally abusive and also physically abusive. Now, growing up, I don't want to talk about my story with my parents and what they went through. I'm going to talk about my story. Growing up, you're taught that women are the weaker sex and they can do no wrong and what's it not and blah 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 blah. But as you're growing up, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like 14 to 20s, you realize that women are not as innocent as everybody keeps telling you they are, nor are they incapable of doing harm to men. Alright, so one thing I want to point out is something that I realize people tend to forget, that just because males are stronger than women does not mean that a woman does not have the ability to cause harm and serious injury to that man. You understand? We're talking about raw strength, right? And just because a woman may not be as strong as I am doesn't mean that she's not strong enough to hurt me. Doesn't mean that she's not strong enough to scratch out my eye. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go into my story. I'm gonna talk about my first relationship that was extremely abusive. You understand? Well, not the first relationship that was extremely abusive, but the relationship that really still stays with me to this day. And there's a thing that we tend to ignore, especially about Jamaican women, of how violent they are. We tend to think that violence from women is okay and should be accepted, and we're quick to sweep it under the rug, saying that, oh, she's a woman, so it's okay for her to do that, as if we think that a woman hitting a man is just like a feather being stroked on a man's back or on his face. That's what we're kind of like making a contrast with women, where it comes to a woman hitting a man. If a woman seriously wanted to hurt a man, she can. Her hands might be weaker than mine, but it doesn't mean that it can't cause harm or injury to me. You understand what I'm saying? Alright. So, anyway, I was in a relationship with someone, right? Her name was Kay. Right? We're just going to call her Kay. You see, Kay and I had a wonderful sex life. However, on the side of the relationship where commitment was concerned, she sucked. She was a horrible girlfriend. She liked to go out while she was in a committed relationship. She liked to speak to other men. Even though many times I told her that I was not okay with that and that I was going to leave her, or that I was going to end the relationship, or she should leave if she wants to speak with other men. You know, she basically made a lot of promises and whatever it is. But, you know, anyway, moving on from that topic, you understand? We could say that I was whipped for that moment in time, because honestly I was whipped. So anyway, we get to a point in the relationship where I left Jamaica for a couple of months, and I was in America working. And while I was in America working, I'm sure, because I didn't trust this chick, and I told her point blank, I don't trust you. You understand? People know how I stay. Like, I'll just tell you point blank if I don't trust her or if I don't like you. I told her point blank, regardless of her being my girlfriend, I don't trust her. You understand? She don't give me reasons to trust her. So I let her know that, yo, I don't trust you. And I don't trust you constantly talking to people. In any case, you know, and I'm going to even bring up topics of things that she spoke about, like while I was away. And it just let me know what she was basically doing. You understand? And women always try to think that when they subtly ask you something that you don't pick up, that's what they're actually doing. But anyway, that's not the point that I'm talking about right now. The point I'm talking about is that we were in a relationship where this woman was very, very abusive after a while. She was abusive mostly verbally at first, but there was one point in time where she laid her hands on me. And how this happened was like, okay, we're driving. I'm teaching her how to drive, right? She's using my car. Now, in the car, we had an argument about what happened the night before, because she went out to the club and whatever it is, and I called her a slut. I said, you're a slut. I don't give a shit. Like, why would you have a boyfriend and you're going out to the club to go dance with other men? I called her a slut. I don't give a shit. And her sister and her sister's boyfriend was kind of like, yo, you should leave this guy and whatever it is and blah, 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 blah. Yo, F you people too, because you people are freaking enablers. And I can guarantee you right now that she's single in her freaking life. Single and wishing she had a freaking good man. Right? Because she go sleep around like a goddamn slut. Because she's a slut. Anyway, what happened is that now, she basically like, we got up into an argument, and she basically like started to threaten me. And you know, she was threatening me, but I wasn't threatening her. I just basically told her that, yo, I don't want to be in this relationship, especially with somebody who's gonna threaten my freaking life. So she was like getting into the point that how she's gonna get people to cut my balls off. You see me? And then I took her threats seriously. I stopped, like, I said, here's what's gonna happen. You know you're not gonna stay in my freaking car and talk to me like that. You see me? I let her know that point blank. I was like, you're not going to stay in my car and talk to me like that. She's like, oh, what the F you gonna do? I was like, yo, turn the car off, get the freak out of my car right now, because I'm done with you. I'm done. This relationship is done. So she was like, oh, you're not going to kick me out in the middle of the street or whatever it is. I was like, yo, what? The minute we pull up at a stoplight, I turn the key off, pull the key out the keyhole, and pull up the handbrake on the car. I said, get the F out of the car. You're not going to talk to me like that and think I'm going to sit down and take that shit. You see me? And, you know, she got upset. And she was getting out of the car. And what she did when she was getting out of the car was that she slapped me a couple times. You understand? She slapped me a couple times. And I'm like, yo. So she even like put her freaking hands on me. I'm like, alright, you know what? No. That's not gonna fly with me. Here what? We're done. I'm good. We're done. So she gets out of the car, you know, she starts walking, and, you know, I kind of like, I got simp up. I simped up, and then I kind of like followed behind her with the car. And when I followed behind her with the car, I basically was just like saying, all right, get back in the car. I'm going to take you home. And when I take you home, that's the end of our relationship. You see me? Because I'm just not dealing with it. So she decided that no, she's not getting back in the car and whatever it is and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, she starts to walk off. I parked the car like in another street and stuff, and I walked her down, and she started to act crazy. She started to act real crazy. And I was like, alright, you know what? F it. I'm done. Because she slapped me up a couple times after that. And I'm like, alright, you know what? I don't think I want to deal with this person. She's not stable. You understand? Her sister and her sister boyfriend called me unstable just because I called her out on the slutty behavior. But I looked at it and I was like, no, what they want to do is have me condone the slutty ass, disgusting behavior. And then she must live free, and I must demoralize myself and lower my standard to date her. And I'm like, nah, I'm not into that. So anyway, stay tuned for part 2. Because part 2 is going to be a little bit more interesting than part 1 right now.